a rather, I guess not unique, but not that common stream. Today, we're going to be washing in the GE washing machine, the top load washer. And the model number is GTW460ASJ9WW. Well, really ASJ9WW as it is said. So, without further ado, folks, I know it is late at night, but God bless you still. So, I'm just going to put in some clothes that I'm going to wash. And let me toss these in, and we will wash them.
Digo por mis trapillos para sacudir.
Okay. Let's get all these.
Voy a sacudir la cama.
Okay. ¿Vas a sacar la cama? ¿O
Sí, cama.
ahorita?
Sí,
Digo,
mi cama sí.
las sábanas.
Sí, y es todo, ¿no?
Sí.
Ya la saqué.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. I'm also going to toss in some clothes, but first I need to be off the frame for this. But if you wanted to hear the startup sound on this, you can. That's the startup sound on any other GE washer with a more advanced panel. We're going to set it on normal. Deep rinse, as always. And we're going to put precise fill. I always put it on cold wash so that it doesn't hurt the fabric too much. And, oh man, I need to put some soap. So let me get the soap. Where is the soap? Where is the, oh, there it is. I was like, where is the soap for a moment? And there it is. And let me just toss this around just to make sure nothing gets stuck. I just invented a new word, but oh, great. As you can see, I'm not the best at putting laundry detergent. But yeah, folks, we are, I think, good to go. Hold on just a moment, though. Yeah, I think we're ready to go. Just, gotta give it some oomph. Let me just put this here first. Just to make sure. I'm not going to be able to read the comments, folks, but, or not on screen, but this is the last time you'll see me on screen, very likely, at least for this night. But God bless all of y'all who join in, and enjoy the cycle. All right. I'm going to put deep fill also, and make sure it marinates itself with the detergent too. All right, I'm going to hit start. Get some water for the fabrics off there, and let it rip. right, we are done. So if you're watching the video after the fact and are concerned about the noise in the background, that's just the birds. So yeah, folks. Okay, now we're ready to dry it. So I'm gonna take this off and let me get this. Why is the tub shaking? It looks like it's slowing down. Oh, you saw my face. Anyways, yeah, it is finished. It is slowing down. Well, it slowed down and it stopped. All right, here, let's see if we get this number in frame. Oh, there's a QR code just in case you want to look up some more information on that. Yep, it says GTW460ASJ9WW HL950220G. That is the model number. The GE Hydrowave has a 4.1 star rating. It looks like it is indeed a great machine. Yeah. It performs well. I will say that. Maybe I was a little bit too harsh last time we talked on that. Yeah. It's a good machine. It's a lot like the older models. You know those models with I'll tell you in just a moment, but I want to show you something. Most commercial washers and washers from back from before the 2000s, you wouldn't see this. But this tub, this basket is suspended with 4 suspension rods on each corner. So the way it works is those rods are suspended from the top of the inside, and whereas like an old Whirlpool, an old Maytag, or currently only Speed Queen does this, but it doesn't have that. It would be suspended from the bottom with shock absorbers. But yeah, this is more of a floaty type of thing. But yeah, the Hydrowave washer, I'll get back to that. It's pretty good. It has this agitator. Well, slightly different agitator, of course, but you could fill it up, and especially if you put, I'm not sure if deep fill was a thing back then. Right now you could see deep fill here. If you put deep fill, that's when it shines, because I don't know. I think a bunch of washing machine enthusiasts would also agree. If you put too little water, it's just it might not even be enough to remove anything. Not remove dirt. It won't remove dirt. It won't remove stains or lint. At least that's how I feel. Yes, it'll save water, all right, but I don't know. I just feel a little fearful. There is a Hydrowave, yeah, that I'll show you in just a moment, but let's read your comment first. It needs an ample amount of water to remove the most aggressive stains. Exactly. Hey, before I look, this is obviously you can't see it, but the original packaging from the cardboard box, it said made in the USA. Between 70 to 90% materials from America. And this comes from Appliance Park, which is in Louisville, Kentucky. That's where they've been making washers since 1951 in Kentucky. But when it comes to white textiles, you will need to use Tide to remove stains. Okay, here is a shocker. I don't like Tide. I don't like Gain. I really don't like those chemically, it feels like a bunch of chemicals go into it. I prefer something more like Folka, which, yes, it's blue, but it's more mild at the very least. It's more mild than Tide or Gain, I'd say. Yeah, I don't know why they put blue here, but I don't know, maybe I'm biased. I'm probably biased because this is the detergent that my mom and I've been using for years. But it's a detergent that comes from Mexico, so I'm not sure. I haven't tried Tide in a while, but it feels kind of boring, to be honest. I don't know why, but it does. But maybe I need to try it. Maybe I have a change of heart. But yeah, this is... So the washer is apparently made in USA. Well, at the very least, it's assembled. I didn't know Tide was full of endless chemicals. Tide is always the most expensive, and Walmart locks them up because people steal them so much. That's the power of marketing. And exactly, as you say, as a graphic designer, Tide's orange/yellow color scheme is very effective for a marketing method. Yeah, Tide used to be one of the best. But now Tide and Gain are owned by Procter & Gamble. So it's basically like the same thing. I'm glad Haier retained GE's appliance headquarters in Kentucky. Yeah, in 2015 it actually burned down. And it was assumed to be a total loss. But thankfully they were able to recover that. And I think that stopped production on their washers. And I think that's when they were in the process of launching this new product. In fact, this is what it looks like. But yeah, I have not had any issues with this washer, other than the fact that sometimes the belt causes friction on the pulley, but that's not an issue that has given this washer any stoppage. In fact, it's been going along these past few years. Procter & Gamble are Satanists. They have historical logos involving satanic imagery. Well, there you go. Another reason for you, perhaps, to not use Tide or Gain. Maybe not. But yeah, Tide and Gain are Procter & Gamble brands. So yeah, these modern washers, they have these little bumps. the ones before the higher acquisition, they have like little ribbed inside. It seemed, and those were made of stainless steel, ferritic stainless steel. It was stainless steel, but it was magnetic. So yeah, I don't buy Tide or Gain anyways. Overpriced and overrated. Yeah, I agree. Tide and Gain are boring. Like the fabric softener Gain, I do buy, but if you have anything uh, fabric softener wise that's better than Gain, um, let me know. Or yeah, Procter & Gamble owns Bounce fabric softener too. Oh, I remember that once upon a time they had the Outfield Your Love as the background music to one of their ads. You can never go wrong with stainless steel. Yeah. Back in the days, Whirlpool used some porcelain. In fact, uh, every brand pretty much used porcelain coated tubs. But here's what I want to show you. First of all, I want to show you this brand, Foca. Yes, it's blue, but the blue doesn't really bleed into the fabrics. That's the one that I've been using. It's a Mexican brand that means seal, and I'm not too sure if you want to take a look at that. That's the one my mom has used for a while. This dryer, on the other hand, is apparently, see if we can see it, made in Mexico, where my mom was born. Interesting. The washer's from the United States, but the dryer's from Mexico. And they still have the appliance park address. That this dryer, which I have just turned on. What brand is the dryer? It's a GE as well. We own a GE washer and dryer set. Never mind, LOL. You showed me the GE logo right after I asked. Yeah, well, there it is. And let me take this bin with me. This bin is where I carry my stuff, my clothes. Excuse the squeaking. Let me put this back and we will show you some more washers. Here's one in particular that I want to show you. Give me just a moment. So, let's see if I could pull it up in bed. When you started this, I didn't realize you were actually doing laundry in the washer. I thought it was just a demonstration stream. Yeah. I'm not sure if you've ever watched Kirk Rivas. I think yeah. I'm gonna show you his channel, and there's the link if you want to check it out at any time. That guy does some washing machine videos and streams, top load and front load. In fact, one of his videos I will show you. Uh-oh. That's not the right video. Okay, here it is. And let me take this. I'm going to show you one of the Hydrowave washers. Kirk Rivas, he's got an appliance store in Austin. Yes, that's the one. So I'm going to show you one of the washers that he had, which is a Hydrowave. Look at this. This is the variant with they call it an infuser, at least GE calls it an infuser. Other people will call it usually a wash plate or an impeller or even a pulsator. But wash plate or impeller are the common terms. But look at this. See if I could get it further. What do you think? Oh my goodness. Some of the clothes are biased towards one side of the thing. GE probably owns the term infuser, so no one can... Ah, I never thought about that. But yeah, that could be true. And yeah, well, this is how it washes. That's a theory, perhaps. And I believe they do use it to this day. Not even full of clothes, and yeah, it does the back and forth cycle instead of a spin cycle. Yeah. Right now it's agitating. Does it turn over? I guess so. What do you think about this wash action? Do you think the water is enough to wash the clothes? This was back in the days of high efficiency. Oh, wait, sorry. I didn't realize that I was putting this in the wrong camera. Pardon me. But yeah. What do you think? Let me show you for a few seconds. Actually, I'm gonna speed it up. I think it needs a tad bit more water, especially the clothes, since the clothes rise to the top. Yeah, that was one of the complaints about this particular washer, which was a Hydrowave. This model, you can tell by the fabric softener cap, it was not well received because, well, it didn't use enough water to begin with. And second of all, there were some mechanical or electronic issues that would also hamper its growth. You know the bad thing about this washer? Not just this model, but the agitator model. None of them have an off-balance feature. When they spin, and there's nothing that could stop them except the user. What washers would you recommend for people who like to conserve on water? I know that LG is a hot model around the washing community. LG front loaders. Look, here's a rule of thumb. If you want to conserve water, front load washing machines are your best bet. They wash decently without having to use a lot of water. And they also spin faster and extract more water from the clothes during the spin cycle. They can reach up to like a few, like, past 10,000 RPM, somewhere from 12 to 14,000 RP or 1400, 1,000 to 1,400 RPM, somewhere along that. Yeah, this is off balance. It doesn't have a unbalanced feature. It just runs. And what that could do is potentially damage the electronics and some of the mechanical materials inside the washer. It could make the outer tub potentially break, I guess. I don't know, since I'm not a certified technician, but I imagine. But hey, it's chugging along. It's just that maybe it'll shorten its lifespan. Wow, that tub is spinning like a tornado. Yep. These hydrowave washers had like a spin speed of 710 RPM. And I think that's the same speed as ours. Now, I will say that the motor on this hydrowave is different because see how it continues spinning in one constant motion. Whereas my washer, well, let me show you. When it's filling, at least. Here's how I could tell. It spins and then it slows down. And it does this for minutes. The hydrowave had a variable speed motor, while this one, it has a 3-speed motor. The first speed is this speed, which is, you know, right before it goes into delicate speed. Let me show you. Right there, sort of. And then it goes into full speed right here. Those are the 3 speeds, and basically that ours has that motor that can only do full speed. When it goes into full speed, it looks like a fan. It does. It really does. And most cheaper washers have that motor with only 3, or even Whirlpool has a 4-speed washer motor. But the top of the line models, they'll be variable speeds. It's just programmed to go at such speed at such moment by the control board that it goes at that speed, but it can do any speed that it can do. In fact, most of those motors, I will show you what they look like. They look like this. Yep. Essentially, that's the stator. Yeah, this was developed by Fisher and Paykel from New Zealand. See how these electromagnetic coils? And yeah, and this is, hold on. The old classic style Here's your motor, and here's your pulley, and there's the main drive pulley thing that drives the agitator or the tub. So yeah. Back in the hydrowave era of GE, they got some flack. They got some flack mainly for their mode shifters. The mode shifter is a little motor that causes the washer to go from agitation mode to spin mode. That thing apparently was found to be unreliable, and many people were complaining that it broke down way too soon and it was costly to repair. I imagine it would be somewhat similar to a car engine. Oh well, a car engine, yeah, especially the older styles, yes. It would be hooked up to a drain pump and the transmission. Back then they had transmissions, but when the hydrowave entered the market, it did not have any transmissions. Unfortunately, that was a lesson that had to be learned the hard way. They should have done extensive testing during manufacturing before releasing it for sale. Yeah, that's one of the things. What else? Other than that, I guess there wasn't too many issues. Certain models, they couldn't use, they didn't use enough water, especially the ones that that looked like the one that I showed you. But apart from that, I guess it's just the mode shifter. When companies don't test and things like this happen, it ends up turning into a costly recall. Well, the hydrowave was around for 10 years, 2006 to 2016, I believe. Let's look at some more washers. Ah, we have a repair sound. Yeah, the mode shifter was really the Achilles heel. Other than that, pretty much generic quality control issues. Overall, it seems like a decent washer, but Haier didn't see its potential, hence why they killed the Hydrowave series when they acquired GE. Yeah. Kirk Rebus uploaded a video of a different Hydrowave washer with an agitator. And that one, when it was going to do the spin cycle, it drained and then continued draining, and then it just stopped. It didn't even continue. I've taken a look at this motor, which is the one that the Hydrowave used. In fact, I'm going to show you. This is what it looks like. That's strange. I wonder why it didn't continue on. Probably a programming glitch or a programming malfunction. or maybe the control board may have given out in some capacity. Yeah, this is what the motors look like. It actually looks more like what you would see from, say, oh, by the way, check this out. This is what it looks like, sort of. It's got the GE logo, electronically protected, made in China, INS Class F1, CRJ-US. Used in auto clothes washer only. Yeah, this looks like what you'd see in a front loader. Cool, a close-up. I see it has a lot of copper coils. Yep, that's what drives the thing here. It's like a shaft that goes in between the coils and causes it to turn around due to the current. Yeah. There it is. And let's see if I can get you the current models. It looks more identical to what you see in a Whirlpool, but slightly different. This is what it looks like. I think this is it. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Does GE sell motors and other parts directly to consumers or only to technicians? Well, let's... Okay. I assume you could buy it yourself, but you do have to pay for shipping. Oh, this is what the motor looks like. Here's one thing I'll say about this, though. If they do sell directly to consumers, consumers probably have to hire a technician to install it. Well, actually, no. The reason they hire technicians is because they don't know how to install it. Maybe that would be the case if it was under warranty, but if it's not under warranty, which depends, it might be 5 years or even just 1 year, maybe that'll void the warranty. That's another reason. That's another reason that they have to hire technicians. I know I would have to because I don't know how to perform maintenance on them. I could help you. I could potentially help you with the help of some videos on YouTube. By the way, I repaired that dryer twice. The first repair was, I can't remember if it was the belt or the knob broke. Yeah, the belt broke. And it just, it wouldn't spin. It worked, but it wouldn't spin. So I had to replace the belt. And it took about 20 minutes to get the belt in and finish. But it was pretty good. Not too bad. You do have to learn how to, maintain your screws in the right place. But that was good. The second one was easy repair. It was a broken knob. The knob actually broke internally, and I couldn't turn the knob to dry. I had to use some pliers to turn it and be able to dry it. Belts are usually lower cost parts and easy to get from any supplier of washing machine parts. Yep, I ordered it online. Some companies are greedy. They will tell you that having any third-party techs work on your machine is a bozo no-no and would void the warranty unless installed by an authorized tech. Yeah. Honestly, considering that this washer lasted for as long as it did, I would say that the warranty would probably mean nothing. Maybe if it was a more advanced control board, which the electronics would be more prone to damage or malfunctioning. Maybe that would be worth a warranty, but something more simple, the warranty really doesn't matter much. What was the implied out of the box warranty on it when it was new? I'm gonna look the product up. Let's look at the model number and see if it shows me. Not yet. Specs and details. With all your knowledge about the machines and their parts, I could see you starting a washing machine repair business one day. Oh yeah. Or even your local appliance store. Yes, definitely. Oh, I'm looking at this model that I have right now. Of course, it's no longer made. Well, it's still made, but it's slightly different features from the one that I have. This model has a 4.1 rating, and it was on sale for $390 when it last sold. Let's see. Oh, we're gonna have to go to 29 for this one. Okay. For the period of 1 year. Okay, for this model, 1 year on any part of the washer that fails due to a defect in materials or workmanship. During this limited 1 year warranty, we will also provide. I wonder what the MSRP was for that machine. I could look it up. Well, actually, I could tell my parents and see if they could remember. Well, there's a 1 year for this, 10 years for the motor. Additional warranties. Oh, this only applies to this washer, these models, which I do not own, and this, and this, and this applies to this model, which I believe is labeled as the commercial quality model, GTW460ASJ9WW. Yeah, this is apparently commercial quality. It works exactly the same. In fact, it's mostly the same as my washer, except a black panel. It doesn't have that plastic with metal finish logo. it's printed in. But it does have a 0.4 horsepower motor. Mine has a 3rd horsepower, I believe. And slightly higher spin speed than mine, I believe. But yeah, I think this one had a 1-year warranty only, in short. So this is it again. 4.2 cubic foot capacity washer with stainless steel basket. It works, but with a caveat. You want to make sure that you put deep fill on this one. Because if you try to conserve water, then you're probably going to run into a bit of an issue. Where am I? Oh, there it is. You want to put deep fill. For commercial applications, the speed is definitely a major deciding factor, especially for places like hotels, hospitals, nursing homes, etc. Yep. The thing is, that washer with the commercial quality label, it takes its sweet time. It takes an hour sometimes, depending on the settings. But it does work. It does wash. And I actually like the agitator on that. It's like your normal household washer, except slightly different appearance and here and there some upgraded parts. Not too different from the ones we have, but slightly upgraded. Yeah, this is the motor that my washer uses. This is what it looks inside. I'll say about the Hydrowave is that the motor had a few LED lights that you could use to diagnose the error codes. The motor is such a simple and small yet powerful element to the washer. Without it, the machine would just be a giant metal box. That's correct. It would be like a pit where you'd use to burn stuff. Or, I don't know what else we would use it for. What I'll say about this washer is that it feels, I'll say the quality is not necessarily anything spectacular or not anything that stands out like people say about Speed Queen or yes, the cabinet is made out of metal. A few plastic parts on the top and plastic tub and stainless steel tub and plastic gearbox. But there is metal put into it on the outside. And where the clothes are put in. Apart from that, the motor, of course, and yeah, I don't know. It's not the highest quality, I'll say. At least I don't feel it is. It actually sounds like a dying cow, according to enthusiasts. And maybe something will go bad, somewhere in the near future. But right now, it's chugging along great without any apparent issues. And honestly, it works. And that's what's most important. The washer functions day and night. Is there better quality? Yes. Speed Queen, Speed Queen, people say. Um, but this one isn't too bad, especially for being a bare bones washer. Metal parts have better durability, but they are also more expensive to produce. As a result, the manufacturing costs get passed on to the consumer. Yeah, that's correct. Back in the days, they used steel, aluminum, whatever metal they had upon their hands. But now, to save costs, they decided to use more and more plastic and composite materials. Speed Queen, they use lots of metal and plenty of it, inside and outside. The only thing that's plastic is the door frame and the gasket that goes in between the drum and the door, and the inner baffles that tumble the clothes here, for example, and the agitator. But the rest is made out of metal. But because of that, it's $2,500 almost. In machinery, the plastic is called ABS plastic or ABS plastic, which is a rugged, durable plastic, but still very easy to wear out and destroy. Oh, okay. Acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. Chemical resistant. Oh, I moved it. Acids concentrated, good. Acids dilute, excellent. Alcohols, poor. Aldehydes, poor. Alkalis, excellent. Alkalis, excellent. Aromatic hydrocarbons, which I believe that would be some detergent and fabric softener, that would be poor. Esters, poor. Halogenated hydrocarbons, poor. And ketones, poor. Yeah. 24.49 is only the MSRP. Vendors will mark up even higher to get more profit. But I imagine that people would buy other brands, wouldn't they? Because it's already expensive as it is. Yes, it's made out of metal, but it is expensive. And also you could think inflation. But yeah. They would profit more off of Whirlpool, out of LG, out of the bigger and more prideful companies. That's true, but the retailers have to buy the machines at wholesale prices, then mark them when selling for retail to get a return on investment. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, I guess I don't really see them profiting off of Speed Queen, just because not many people will get over the price. Maybe a few bucks, a few $30, but that's about it. By the way, I've seen the door frame on this washer, and it feels like Lexan. I'm not sure if you've heard of Lexan before, but it's a polycarbonate plastic that's used in fire alarms. It's fire resistant, flame retardant. I think that's what it's made out of, the door frame. I agree with you about them not profiting. Unless you're a retailer focused on commercial sales, Speed Queen is not going to be very popular with the general crowd. Yeah, it has a devoted fan base, but it's small, I'll admit. Back in the day, it used to be that that it was $1,500, like I would say like $14.49 or something. If I owned a laundromat, I'd be buying a fleet of Speed Queen or their sister brands. Yeah, like Hedge. Hedge is their other brand, and especially in Canada. They last you a long time. It is expensive, but they last you a long time. I'm not sure. This GE washer has lasted a long time too. Will it last 15 years? That's a question mark. But as far as I know, this GE washer hasn't had any problems, from what I could tell. I wonder why Hedge is more popular in Canada. I guess that's due to naming rights or something. Marketing. Will it last 15 years? That depends on how it's used. The more vigorous the use, the shorter lifespan it's going to have. Yep. And right now, 7 years is about as good of a lifespan as this washer can get. Well, maybe 9. 9 or 10 years. For example, if someone is a single guy not doing laundry for his family, it'll probably last a nice long time. Well, I wash my clothes every week. My mom washes bed sheets, I wash bed sheets, and my dad has his clothes washed there, work clothes. Compare that to someone who has a big family. That machine is probably going to last a good 8 to 10 years or less. Yep. Back in the hydrowave era of washers, GE's motto, or well, not motto was, but recommendation was, we recommend you replace your washer every 5 years. I mean, oh goodness, were they really setting their standards that low? Oh well, now that that's out of the way, we can concentrate on this iteration with higher, which honestly, it's not bad. I'll say that. I never go by those recommendations. To me, those are just marketing ploys to get people to buy when they don't need to. Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, whenever you have to buy a part or thing, Whirlpool especially, Whirlpool makes it so that certain parts, especially those that drive the agitator and the tub, that you can't replace those, that you're forced to literally buy an entire assembly or an entire complete new washer. 5 years is not a long time at all. Yeah, and mind you, let me see if I could find it. Hydrowave washer. Let me see if I can find the video by GE. Or if it says that. Or it's something else. GE, we recommend you replace your washer every 5 years. Or maybe it's some kind of Mandela effect that I'm having. Oh well. To me, replacement recommendations are like expiration dates. They're just lies to make consumers act like when they don't need to. Yeah, I want to see if I can find this, but definitely, if this is what I remember correctly, that's what it said. By the way, what's your thoughts on that Energy Star stuff? Is that still the thing? Well, it is, but do people even think about that at all? Because the Hydrowave, they promoted its Energy Star. I find Energy Star questionable. I even wonder if any of their stats are real. Huh. You think? But I am skeptic when it comes to anything related to marketing and advertising. Too many false claims being made these days just to get people to buy. Yeah. I agree. In fact, I just talked about this exact thing on my podcast, and the episode is coming out this week. Yeah. Who knows who's being truthful these days? Probably no one. I remember when GE used to be top of the line. My mother has one of these. It cleans okay, but nothing like the older GEs. The filter flows were the best. That's the iteration up until like 1995. Especially with the ramp activator. They could handle very large amounts of thing. Okay. Isn't new, but it's been... Huh. I guess I was wrong. I guess I gave the Hydrowave too much hate. How long was this? 12 years ago, 2013. Five years ago. Alright, let's see what this reply says. 0. To me, continuing use of the GE name is deceiving customers. A lot of people don't realize GE no longer owns the appliance business, and people are thinking they are buying genuine GE. Well, they have the rights to the name. That's why one person said that, yeah, that was still during the GE era, before they got acquired by Haier. It's kind of like Whirlpool took a different direction. And they were still Whirlpool, but they took a different direction. So GE either way was going downhill. Okay, this is one of the models with the infuser. Here's one of the complaints. Left the clothes dirty and full of soap and lint residue. Probably keeps the lack of clothes to water contact. Yeah. Oh, we have a negative review here. What does this say? The frame is flimsy, barely supports its own weight without losing its rectangular shape. Overall build quality of the componentry is rock bottom. It does weigh half as much as the 80s filter flow washer it replaced. Huh. Interesting. So now GE manufactures motors for Boeing and for Airbus or any of the Bombardier or Embraer, any of those airplane companies. Huh. So it's generally positive reviews here. I have to keep resetting it to get it to work. Now the spin cycle crapped out. Sorry to say the mechanics on this machine have a lot to be desired. Huh. We're not looking at the positives because there's nothing much to look at the positives. But it's generally positive reviews, I'd say. As one person wrote the comment, is oblivious of the fact that that one person who wrote that comment is oblivious to the fact. No, but this is before Haier was bought, wasn't it? This one was 13 years ago, so that would be 2013. Or 14. Or, sorry, 12 years ago. Or 13, no, 2012. And Haier bought them in 2016 after the appliance park fire. Okay. Oh my goodness, this guy likes to bash on these modern models. Next I've tried showing us the side-by-side comparison with equal water levels. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, see, this works. This is the hydro wave with the agitator. This is the agitator. And it works. GC beyond is the legend. Complex. The hydrowave does agitation much more solemnly than a regular machine. Yeah, it's slower, that's for sure. And this is how washers usually wash. They're slower. In fact, none of them have this fast agitation anymore. None of them. Oh, by the way, if you want to see my feed right now, this is it. Boeing. Let's look back. Let's look at a Whirlpool. Try their Cabrio. This is a Whirlpool Cabrio trying to wash work pants. Fast agitation most likely lowers the lifespan of the entire machine, or at least some of its internal parts. Yeah, the ones with the fast agitation, the motor is driving constantly in one direction, and the agitator is actually driven not necessarily by the motor, but by the transmission. The modern washers don't really have a transmission anymore. So it turns opposite and back and forth. Here's one of the modern washers, how it looks. It's got back, actually. $19.93. Yeah, that's how it looks. And that's how modern Whirlpool washers also wash. Another look at the feed. In fact, here's a Maytag that failed. And here's how one of the inner workings of this go. So here's the gears. They drive the shaft that drives an agitator, and it causes a tub to go the other direction. And when it's spin, just engages completely and locks it in place. I'm not sure how exactly, but causes it to go all in one direction. But when it's in agitation mode, it causes it to go in opposite directions. But yeah, look at that plastic, ABS plastic, and then I believe that's aluminum. We got a graduate degree that I'm gonna block, and this is one of the commercial side of the washers. Commercial quality, apparently. Actually, is that aluminum or is that steel? I'm not too sure. Maybe it's aluminum, I think. But yeah, slightly more components made out of metal. It looked like aluminum to me. Reminded me of a kitchen sink. Yeah, that's aluminum, right? I knew it. And I'm gonna check these gears, but they look like I'm not sure if they're plastic or if they're metal. Kitchen sinks are usually aluminum or stainless steel. Yeah. I'd say aluminum because it's cheaper. Oh, doggy. Well, yeah, so summary of this, we were looking at appliances. What I can say about GE, they generally last about as long as they are expected, somewhere from 7 to 10 years. That's where I'd expect them to last. Anything above that would be amazing. The quality is not necessarily spectacular. It feels like a normal washer, I guess. A regular washer you can buy nowadays. But somehow it still holds up better than some of the competitors. Like, the drain pump has not given out, the motor has not given out, no leaks have happened. Really nothing. The belt's still intact. That is a realistic expectation. 5 years is not right. So, I can't say that it exceeds my expectations, but what I can say is that it does its job. The real test will be if I ever buy one of those with those top of the line models with the new, well, not new, but um, instead of knobs and buttons, you're just gonna see keypad buttons, and you're gonna see an electronic timer. I believe those are more prone to having control board failure just because there's more electronics involved. But in reality, that one with the knob is also electronic. It's just disguised as a classic style washer. But yeah, either way, that is what I think. It does its job, but be careful. You do not want to forget to put deep fill because you're not going to be able to wash your clothes as great if you don't put deep fill. That is very slick of them to disguise it like that. Well, I think that might have. Uh-oh. Low battery. GE replace 5 years. Okay, well, I can't look it up because it's gonna die out. But that's what I heard, I think. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's like I said, a Mandela effect. I hotly disagree with GE's 5 years claim. Yep. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure if it would be different with a Whirlpool or with Samsung or with LG. Well, LG would probably be better, honestly. Better performance and even slight durability. Um, all we can pray for is that they may turn their hearts, or should you buy another washing machine and decide to stream an unboxing and set up, I'd watch the entire thing. Yeah. Unfortunately, that unboxing. Oh wait, never mind. No wait, yes. Unfortunately, that's not in the cards in the future because this washer still works, thankfully. But maybe when I move out, maybe when I go live with a home, or with not home. If I'm married and I have my wife, uh, I'll go live with her and make our own home and buy our washing machine, and then we'll film that. But I think now is the time to go, and so let us make one last prayer. I'll make it quick. Thank you, Father, for giving me this day to stream and to preach your word and to preach your righteous and true kingdom that will never perish. Lord, look at us with eyes of mercy and not through our works. Look at us with a countenance and forgive us our sins and allow us to walk in your ways. To all my friends out there, not just Adam, not just Christian, but everyone, and my family and my parents, I pray for their relationships, I pray for their endeavors in work, and any works that they may be doing. I pray that you bless their lives and you touch their hearts and illuminate their paths. And I pray that you do the same for me, that whatever you call me to do, that you may show me so that I may do it. But most importantly, not my will, but yours. Yours be done. In Jesus Christ's name, I pray. Amen. I'm glad your GE machine is still going strong. It's doing a great job. Yeah. Like I said, nothing spectacular. I was actually higher on this, but then I realized, wait a second, maybe I've been too harsh on the hydrowave. And I guess I am. Although I haven't heard too many issues on this model, but then again, it's pretty much like every model, and I have to evaluate everything before jumping to conclusions. But let me know how your washer goes, and I'm so glad I got to join you tonight. I saw you were streaming and immediately clicked. Yep, this was something I wanted to do before I went to Kingsville. I'm going to drive, and then I'm going to sleep at the dorm. Although I don't want to go inside of the showers. I looked at the shower lights, and it's not fur, but it's rust and paint chipping. I need to make a video of my Maytag. Yeah, let me know how that goes, and if you watch Kirk Rivas's videos, you'll get an idea of how washers work in different eras. Usually the modern era, or sometimes it'll be the 2000s, the 90s, even the 80s. And yeah, you'll be able to tell. I will say some of the people have some reserved opinions of some of the washers, but you know, it's their opinion, not ours. So yeah. But anyways, I need to make yeah, I'm gonna go soon. My phone is at 12%, and also it's 2:42, and I don't want to keep you up too late. I know you're sick of the COVID. Maybe I'll get a community note from YouTube for that. But I'll go. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, brother. Thank you for the stream. Anytime. Expect a stream from Kingsville soon. Perhaps while I'm there, I'll wash my clothes on Friday. All right. I'll take off now. Thank you, Christian, for tuning in, and thank you, everybody, for watching. Sleep deep, rise and shine bright, and go in peace, and seek the love of the Lord.